Most people believe that awareness is passive, that simply noticing thoughts or emotions doesn't actually do anything. It feels too small to matter. So when someone becomes aware of a pattern and nothing immediately changes, they assume awareness has failed. They assume they need more effort, more discipline, or a stronger push. This expectation is subtle, but important. It assumes that real change must feel active, that it must involve movement, control, or force. But awareness does not work by pushing the mind in a new direction. It works by interrupting automatic momentum. And momentum is what keeps most patterns alive. Most habits of thought continue not because they are strong, but because they are familiar. They repeat in the background without being questioned. When a pattern runs unconsciously, it feels personal. It feels like you, like the way things simply are. This is why awareness can feel uncomfortable at first, not because it is weak, but because it creates separation where there was none before. The pattern still appears, the thought still arises, the emotion still moves through the body. But now it is seen. And what is seen no longer has the same authority. It can still speak, but it cannot pretend to be the whole voice. This is the part most people misunderstand. They expect awareness to remove the pattern. Instead, awareness removes identification with it. And that difference matters. When identification weakens, the pattern loses its fuel, not immediately, but inevitably. The mind often reacts to this loss of control. It tries to reassert itself, to explain, justify, or intensify what is being observed. This can feel like things are getting worse, like awareness is making the problem louder. But this is not regression, it is exposure. Patterns rely on invisibility. They function best when unquestioned, when they run automatically without being noticed. Awareness removes that invisibility. Ancient wisdom understood this long before modern psychology, not as a practice to apply, but as a description of how the mind behaves. What is brought into awareness cannot continue in the same hidden way. It may repeat for a time, but repetition without identification begins to weaken. This is why force so often backfires. Force creates resistance, and resistance strengthens the sense of self that the pattern depends on. Awareness does the opposite. It does not argue. It does not suppress. It simply stays present. And presence is destabilizing to anything that relies on habit. If you have ever noticed a pattern slowly losing its grip, after you stop trying to fix it, this is why. The change did not come from effort. It came from clarity. Awareness does not rush. It does not demand results. And it does not promise immediate relief, but it shifts the ground beneath the pattern, so that what once felt solid begins to feel optional. This is also why awareness can feel unsatisfying to the mind. There is no dramatic victory, no moment of conquest, just a quiet loss of certainty. And yet that loss is irreversible. Once a pattern has been clearly seen, it can never fully return to being unconscious. Something fundamental has changed. Awareness is not the end of the process, but it is the point where the process becomes unavoidable. From that moment on, the pattern no longer owns the space it once did. And over time, what cannot hide cannot survive in the same way. If this way of explaining the mind feels familiar to you, you may want to stay here. This channel isn't about motivation or self-improvement techniques. It's about understanding how patterns actually form and how awareness begins to change them. New videos explore the same ideas from different angles, always calmly and without pressure to fix yourself. If that's something you want to keep exploring, you can subscribe and take what resonates. Leave the rest.